Welcome everyone to That Kind of Nerds Podcast, a weekly show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined by Brian Thornton and Josh Burns.
Oh, you did that on purpose. That's not right. Flip it. You gotta do it again.
Joined by Josh Burns and Brian Thornton.
There we go. I feel much better.
Will your
about
agent
that.
get on me for putting the billing in the wrong order? Is that how that works?
It felt weird. We tried it. I don't like it.
Well then,
moving on.
Okay. So we have a lot to talk about this week. We are going to be talking about Jessica Jones Season 2. That will be at the end of the show, so if you haven't watched the show, you can actually listen to the rest of this. So I want to start off with what I love to do during the week is go around the internet, find the weird, find the obscure, and then, of course, ask for a tech perspective. So this week was apparently like...
Boop, 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 boop. This is a confused tech perspective because this is normally much later.
It is. This week apparently was the time that everyone was just like, hey, remember when AR was just like the hottest thing? Well, it's coming back in a big way. So this is a slightly old story, but we definitely want to bring it up. Jurassic Park is awesome. You guys have talked about how influential it was in your life, drive-through in the rain, and just how big of an impact it meant. And we all loved Pokemon Go when it came out. And now Jurassic World Alive is Pokemon Go, but with dinosaurs. I don't know if you guys have seen the screenshots of this, but I mean, literally, it looks like they skinned Pokemon Go and just put dinosaurs there.
I am on board with this for if with one caveat.
Okay.
Can I catch a shirtless Ian Malcolm?
I don't know, but life finds a way.
It breaks through.
Other than that, no, this is dumb.
Yeah, they haven't said this is really the first time we've allowed you to take dinosaurs off the island and out of the storytelling world and into the real world. No, you didn't, because dinosaurs aren't real. So, like...
Pokemon aren't real either. Calm yourself.
But, like, Pokemon was not just like, we're not going to let it be in the Pokemon world anymore. It's going to be in your world. Like, no. Now Pokemon are there. Go get them. Like, go do your thing. Shut up and money, please.
Yeah. Go catch dinosaurs. Because that's how it happens in Jurassic Park.
But when we right,
exactly how it happens.
That's exactly how it happens. No,
you don't
Jurassic
go
Park,
catch dinosaurs.
You know what? Do you catch the mosquitoes that then create the dinosaurs? Is that what this game is?
No, but I'm also very curious as to.
I'm very confused by this concept.
Do you catch them with like some special net? Like, do you if it's raining, or T-Rex is just everywhere? Like, what is the
throw
rule?
a Pokeball at them?
Do you lure them out with a goat?
A cow
or a lawyer? All three work.
Ah, okay.
Here's my honest question though. I mean, the fad of taking a walk to get to a checkpoint to earn supplies and then going to a certain destination to catch an AR beam. Like, does anyone want that anymore? I mean, I was pretty skeptical of Ghostbusters doing the exact same thing, and now Jurassic Park. Like, does anyone want this?
Only if after 6 months the dinosaurs break loose and threaten to release a virus on my phone. And I need to, do special activities to stop it. If I don't walk a mile, then my phone shuts down. That would be interesting.
Sounds like ransomware.
I'm just saying, it's a thought. It's a thought.
So listen,
this makes no sense. No one wants it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say hard pass on this game. So it was good try at Jurassic World Alive. This would have been great like a year and a half ago. It's not great anymore. All right, but the second bit of AR news came in with Street Fighter 2. Someone turned Street Fighter 2 into basically an AR proof of concept game where you just kind of lay it out on an area on a table. You have another person playing with you. You hold up your phone, and you've got Street Fighter 2 right there in front of you. This is actually pretty impressive considering it's not a real Capcom, property or a released game. It looked pretty cool. What did you guys think of the video?
I'd never be able to play Street Fighter without an actual controller.
Yeah, I need to feel that button just click.
Yeah, it's got it. Yeah,
it does not work on a touch screen.
Especially when you're rocking back and forth. Like if you're trying to execute any of their special moves, there's no way you can do that without a tactile surface.
Right. If you can do it with like that clip-on controller that clips onto the phone, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Like it'd be really cool to watch it happen against another player, two separate. Like you're not on a TV, obviously, but
right.
It's still more interactive than it would be on a television.
Yeah, that was kind of my feeling was you need to put some kind of controller on it. So Brian, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a little cradle, right? That it's got the pad, and then it has a little arm, and it holds your cell phone. And then Josh, I was kind of thinking the same thing you. I would rather watch this than play it. Just if someone is playing.
Well, you can't. I mean, it's not. You do realize, CJ, that it doesn't happen out, and it's only on the phone screen.
Right. Yes, it doesn't actually project.
Right. It's not projecting.
Oh, I
so
get that.
You're not going to be able to.
So I'm
watch
saying
it.
you and Brian are playing Street Fighter.
You're
right?
going to watch me and Brian watching our phones.
No,
is
no,
what
no,
you're
no,
saying.
No.
No,
So
here's
what
gonna be
exactly
the
are you
creeper.
watching?
So here's my thought.
What
Here's my thought.
are you standing over my shoulder? Because fuck off.
No,
Don't
yeah,
breathe
seriously.
on me.
No. Here's my thought. You two
You
are.
gotta stay away from my personal space while I'm playing.
Okay.
Oh, I get it. So but then you eat the cracker.
So I said to her, no. So my thought is this: you two are playing just Street Fighter on your phone with a controller, right? You're playing a game, right, on your phone with the controller. And I'm like, hey, I want to watch Brian and Josh play Street Fighter and watch Brian lose miserably to Josh.
No. We established that if I were going to lose at all, it would be Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I agree with that. It would
I
be
will-
Street Fighter.
So let's
him.
make
I
Mortal
do not
Kombat.
reign
So
supreme.
I want
I'm
to
good
see that fight. So I just don't want to stare at just like down here and look at a table. I'd rather just kind of put it into the world, so I could take the game that you are playing and kind of do it in AR and move around and like get different angles and stuff. That's how I'm saying let's take this to the next step, and it'd be a way for a
So
third
you want to
party.
be able to spectate with your phone.
Yes.
Our fight.
Yes.
That's dumb because I just see you walking in the middle of my fight and then I'm going to have to slap you.
but it's not going to interfere with what you're doing.
No, I would still want to slap you.
You throw up. Well, you just want to slap me regardless, and you're going too soon. So don't worry.
$50.
$50 to do that?
$50 is the price of admission to our fight.
There you go.
That's just crazy talk at that point.
Right.
It'll be a good show. I guarantee that.
I just dissuaded you and therefore ended the conversation.
Is there any game that you would want to see, since we have two games that are in AR and they're kind of like this is not what we want? What is the game that belongs in AR? What is the concept that belongs in AR that's clearly not these two concepts?
Resident Evil.
I Call of Duty. The problem is that just people would die, like actually die, hiding or climbing up to snipe somebody. You know what I mean? Like
I'm thinking like Resident Evil, but it's like just like a survivor mode. Like you could stand in a park or something where like an event is happening and have waves of zombies and just tap and move and shoot.
Yeah.
Tap,
So
move and tap.
or like even in your apartment now. Your apartment now is the level of Resident Evil, and it's a zombie horror.
So something like that. Like I don't think PvP is a smart idea in AR.
I agree. I think AR is a more one-on-one.
Pokemon is completely different because you'd be like, hey, do you accept yeah, sure, that type of thing. But like, I don't know about fighting games or shooting games. That would be troublesome.
Josh, what about you?
Look, I don't have much use for AR.
FIFA.
I think it's cool, but I mean,
What if Madden was in AR?
how? Like, how are you going to do that?
I don't know.
I
I don't know
either.
enough about football. Figure it out, Josh.
You're the quarterback, right? You're ARing your whole team, and then you throw the ball like you would a Pokeball to get.
That's
to the guy in the
not
end zone.
Madden. That's not Madden. I don't want any part of that. No, I don't really have much use for it. It's cool in applications like Pokemon. And if they do this Jurassic World Alive thing well, then that'll be cool too. I don't know what you're going to throw at them to catch them, but whatever. Seems fine.
First person.
That's it.
First person perspective of Pac-Man. You have to walk around and collect the dots and run away from ghosts.
I'd be worried about tripping over shit.
I'd be worried about running in the middle of a street, running away from a ghost.
You're doing it like don't do it outside. Just stop doing it outside. Do
The
it in your
whole
house.
point of this is to get outside.
No, the whole point is just to have your
You can only
your
walk so
different
far in a palatial estate. I mean, eventually you hit a wall
That's
and you
true.
trip over some nice like Ming vase, some
or
crazy shit. Like, or you have those like Oriental rug runners that are in every hallway on the hardwood, right? And like as you go to step on one, the butler like jogs in front of you and skids, and then you're up, in the air,
got a Breaking Bad situation going on.
and you have your whole you've screwed up your whole Pac-Man game.
You know what? For that reason alone, I'm now terrified of AR.
There you
Thanks.
go.
Now I'm terrified.
There you go.
Now, Josh,
As you should be, sir.
So the next topic I have on the show notes here was submitted by one of you, and apparently you're fighting over the ownership of this, which is 25 things that happened 20 years ago that will make you feel ancient. You both seem to have kind of an opinion about this article, so tell me what the heck I'm seeing here. What's going on?
Things that make you feel ancient.
Wow.
CJ, how old are you?
That's a wonderful... I'm going to be turning 30 in May.
Okay, so you remember when some of this stuff happened.
Yeah, I do.
Josh most certainly remembers when all of this stuff happened.
Yep.
And I remember probably about 60% of it. And I feel old after reading this article. That's all I have to say.
So, Brian, what were some of the highlights? What were some of the things that you actually vividly remember? You're like, that was 20 years ago? Really?
Google was founded. I remember the days before Google using Alta Vista and Dogpile and stuff.
Yeah, Yahoo.
Yahoo, Ask Jeeves. I was asking Jeeves all sorts of stuff, and then Google came out. Titanic dominating the year of 1997 and winning all sorts of Academy Awards.
I certainly remember when Titanic was all the rage.
First date with Laura.
Was it really?
Oh,
Titanic.
Of course it was. Of course it was. It was March.
I'm so sorry you didn't see a better movie.
I know. It was early 1998. It was, that's what she did. And she had already seen it a couple times, and I got like shushed or booed twice because I laughed at inappropriate moments.
That sounds right.
I remember the Bill Clinton impeachment trial.
Yeah, I remember it.
No, I don't.
Not vividly, but I remember it happening.
I remember it happening. This is something I don't remember. Josh, you probably remember this more than I do. The first Apple iMac being released.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember seeing them in school, but
they were like some mythical alien technology that I had no idea how they worked, so I just never touched one.
See, for me, I didn't realize that they were in all the schools until like the early the early aughts, like 2007, 2006, because I went to a poor Catholic school who couldn't
Catholic
afford
schools
this.
did not have CJ. We went to the same school.
We did. They did not have iMacs.
No, I had my freshman year. Typing class was on a typewriter. Yes, I had a typewriter
ribbon.
It was an electronic one, but it was still a fucking typewriter in 1995.
Wow.
94.
Yeah, no, I went to I went to a high school by my freshman year in college to do a show, and we were in a dressing room that was basically like a storage closet. And there were all these iMac boxes everywhere, and I was like, "Oh my god, they have them here! They had them here. We're getting rid of them because we got the new ones coming in." I'm like, I would have literally given up like my best friend's arm to go ahead and to play on a Mac. So I never saw it. The one that was on my list that I vividly remember was the Truman Show coming out and hitting theaters. That movie was like all I wanted to talk about besides the Titanic. Yeah, I'm a Titanic nerd. Don't at me.
Well, that and There's Something About Mary came out at the same time too.
I never liked that.
Oh, I loved that movie. That movie was so good.
I don't like movies where people are overly embarrassed.
And I knew the football player.
The awkward moments in that movie were choice. They were so good.
That makes my skin itch.
The one thing that I do remember that kind of hit me in the nostalgia / I'm old feels is the last episode of Seinfeld aired in 98.
It sure did.
May of 98.
Yeah.
I remember watching that finale, and I'm actually rewatching Seinfeld now because of this article, but I did not think it was that long ago. That was a great show too. I don't care who you are.
The one that's actually that's really weird on the list is that Frank Sinatra passed away, and actually Frank Sinatra died on my birthday. So when I turned 10, Frank Sinatra died, so I feel responsible somehow for that. Like I'm to blame. So that's an awkward one for me.
You are to blame. But
Yep.
I do feel obligated to mention that, Blockbuster was still a thing back then, clearly. Everybody was going to Blockbuster to rent movies. I went to Blockbuster all the time. It was awesome.
Josh, what is your favorite Blockbuster story? Because I know I have one. Do you have one favorite Blockbuster story at all?
But no, I went to Hollywood Video.
Oh,
I always had friends that worked at Hollywood and they would wipe the late fees.
I frequented both establishments. Just FYI, I was an equal opportunity video renter.
I bought a 99-cent chicken nugget thing at Wendy's and won free Blockbuster for a year. So every week I got to rent a video from Blockbuster for free.
Of course, your cheap ass won free Blockbuster for a year.
It was great because like the thing with Blockbuster was going as a family and then you bicker about what movie you actually are going to watch. Be like, I want to watch this one. I want to watch this one. But because it was my coupon, it was under my stuff. I was like, you know what? We're gonna get Homeward Bound again. You shut up. We're gonna watch it.
Homeward Bound was a great movie.
It was a great movie, but I'm sure
Homeward Bound 2, not so much.
I'm sure better movies were being suggested, and I'm like, no, Homeward Bound. Let's do it. Not happening. The one that annoyed me on the list, which, Brian, I think you may have gone through the same crap that I did. You were a young kid with glasses, so Harry Potter made its debut in the U.S., which meant that everybody called you Harry Potter.
I actually didn't get that so much in high school. I got that more in college.
Oh, wow.
Because I had rounder frames then. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I never read it. I didn't really care. I didn't read Harry Potter until I was in high school. They were already 6 books deep at that point.
I wasn't
and
introduced
3 movies in.
I wasn't introduced to Harry Potter until 2003. My roommate had a daughter who was like 3 years old and was in love with the Harry Potter movies. So I would sit with her and watch these movies, and I thought, these are really fucking cool. Like, how the hell am I not involved in this shit? So I wasn't, not 98, but long after.
And then the last one on the list for me was Furbies.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too.
Man,
those soulless freaking toys.
I was working retail at the time, I think. So either that or I was a senior in high school. I remember this being a thing. It wasn't like, it just seemed very Mogwai strange to me. So I just shunned the whole.
Well, much like a Mogwai, you couldn't get Furby wet.
Right.
They
News.
just look so creepy.
They were and are still creepy. And my sister had one and like played with it for like a month, and then like it would just hide in a closet and randomly go off when nobody was talking to it. The thing was possessed. They're all possessed. That's what I'm trying to say.
All Furbies have demons inside of them.
Have a piece of demon soul.
You remember how everyone was into the craft that one year? Well, apparently when they were holding their seances, they created demon Furbies.
I mean, that makes sense if they summoned Furbies from the bowels of hell.
That kind of correlates, right? A bunch of people into, witchcraft, and next year, hey, you got Furbies.
Yeah, makes
I do have a gripe, and I have to. I was gonna let it go, but I can't.
Okay, don't hold it back anymore.
I got a real problem with BusinessInsider.com.
Why?
Okay, that's the website that's giving us this list. Why? What do you have against this website?
They pictured a Nokia 6100 series.
Okay.
That's not a 6120. The 6120 didn't come out till like 2005, 2006, some shit like that. The 6100 series, the one they picture, really didn't hit the States until 99, and B, wasn't the phone that was selling in 98 because that's a digital phone, and 98 was still dual mode. It was the 2160. I know that because I sold it in 98 and I owned one. I have a real problem with now everything else in this list because this is not factual.
Everything else is suspect. CJ, you need to go through.
Also, MP3 players didn't become a thing. Like, they weren't a thing in 98.
I mean, they were. I had one.
No, you did not.
Yes, it had a compact flash disc inside of it. It was made by Sony. It was a piece of crap, and I took it on my 8th grade trip to New York, and it was awesome.
I don't even remember seeing an MP3 player until like probably 2000. Like, I just don't recall them anywhere in the United States.
I guess I plead my dad was an engineer, therefore it was like, hey, this is a really cool technology. That may have been.
Oh yeah, okay. You had the inside track.
Early adopter. Okay. I mean, I guess. I know that they were around, but working at an electronics retailer in 1998, we didn't have them.
You know what then? Let's throw them under the bus like we did with Pop Theater. Business Insider, I got some issues with this list.
Okay, there's a little bit of a difference between Pop Theater and Business Insider.
Yeah, I don't have to put polls in a thing and wear it on my face.
Really sure you want to take this thing on? I mean,
no, not at all. I'm just saying I don't agree with these two things specifically.
So this is just a Burns gripe, and that'll be that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a total Josh move for sure. I'm just saying this is bullshit.
Well,
that's not a 6120, and B, it didn't. That wasn't the phone that was selling in '98. So they should shut up.
Nerd.
Yes.
All right. Nerd alert. Nerd rage alert. All right. Well, since we're talking nostalgia, I think it's only important that we bring up some news surrounding an institution that we all probably frequented at one point in our lives, and that is Toys R Us. They are closing all of their US and UK stores. While Toys R Us may be leaving, I am still a Toys R Us kid.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Without getting into like all the crazy corporate finance bullshit.
Yeah.
The thing about I didn't have a Toys R Us growing up. We had KB Toys in the mall.
I remember KB Toys.
Yeah, that's what we had. I didn't have a Toys R Us, so this wasn't a thing for me. I shopped first at Babies R Us before Christian was born, and it was super convenient, and I loved it, and that was great. And like, if you buy a pallet of diapers, they basically give you a pallet of diapers.
Yes,
for
that's
free.
exactly how that works.
And so we bought pallets. Like, just just drop them on the lawn. We'll carry them in one at a time. It's fine. We bought pallets, right? However, the first time I was ever in a Toys R Us, I believe it or not, was probably only like 3 years ago.
Really?
And yeah, well, I had no reason to go into a Toys R Us.
All right. Okay.
You mean
Right.
besides all of the toys?
Fun and childhood.
The thing is, no, I mean, even with young kids, we always just shopped at other places for basically Amazon. Where we don't really buy the kids toys. Other people buy them toys. So maybe they shop at Toys R Us, but I never did. I walk into this place and I'm sort of looking around, and then like somebody at customer service picks up the PA system and starts announcing that there's this little girl in the store and it's her birthday, and it's she's 5 today and she gets to be princess for a day, and they put like a tiara on her and they tie a balloon around her wrist and they give her a certificate, and she's the happiest little girl I've ever seen in my entire life. Right? So, and like everybody, customers and employees that are in the store, like they announced her name, as Alyssa or whatever, and everybody's saying, Alyssa, happy birthday. And she's having the best day of her entire life. And I'm like, I walk up to customer service, like, I'm not crying, you're crying. Shut up. And I say, like, is this something that people have to, is this something you guys schedule? And the lady said, no, just sign up for this thing and tell us when your kids' birthdays are, and we'll send you a reminder, and you bring them in, and you get a coupon for money off the present for them, and we make a big deal. And while I am moved by 33,000 Americans and folks in the UK being out of work, I am far more sad that culture is now dead. Like that thing will never happen again for children at retail because no one else does it.
Nope.
And I've done it for my kids each of the last 3 years. And it's a big deal. So it's sad, right? Corporate financial bullshit aside, lost jobs, those folks, it's retail, they're going to be okay. But it's the spirit that just died that really kicks me right in the face.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, this was like 90s Nickelodeon culture, and Toys R Us would be a gift card that you would win. I mean, I went to Toys R Us
You'd get the giant books in the mail.
Oh
I remember
God,
that. I used to go through that, being like, oh my gosh,
big book.
trying to figure out what I wanted.
Yeah, the big book. It's huge. But
all I had was like the Sears catalog. I didn't have a big book.
Well, I mean, for me, it was also like, this is where I went to get Pokemon cards. I think I bought my first Game Boy at Toys R Us. I definitely know this is where my parents went and got me Power Ranger Zords. Like, I know for a fact that is responsible for some great memories that I've had in my life. But the other part to it too was, I don't remember what the television show was. I don't recall what it was. But if you won, the grand prize was you got to go into a Toys R Us. They gave you a cart, and it was fill it up with whatever you can, right? And bring
Shopping
it to
spree.
a shopping spree. Bring it to the front of the store. You have like 90 seconds to make it all happen, or like a couple minutes to make it happen. Go. And just, I remember going, I want that someday, just to be able to do that.
Wasn't that like you can't do that on television or one of those? Like,
I really don't. It's been in other things too.
but it was, yeah, all right. I thought it was like a Nickelodeon game show thing.
It probably was. I don't remember. Again, I don't remember what show it was. But just remembering how cool that was. But yeah, Toys R Us was a place that definitely went to as a kid. I know I shot for my niece when she was younger for things on like Black Friday. I waited in line inside Toys R Us. But unfortunately, the reality of it is, we stopped going. It became convenient to get things elsewhere. And hearing the news, everyone went, "Oh, how sad!" It was like, yeah, well, where were you the last like 9 years?
Yeah,
It's
you know
just
what?
like,
I mean,
it's the
but
same
you're
thing. It's the same thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
They got priced out by Amazon,
Yeah.
and frankly, but I mean, can you think in the towns you've lived in of a single Toys R Us that was in a convenient location? No, right?
But
so, like, it's not this is a billion factors, and again, I was trying to ignore this, but it all comes down to mismanagement. That doesn't matter. What matters is like where will the next generation get that experience that you had, that I had for my kids? Where are they going to get it?
Because you can't get it at Target, you can't get it at Walmart, you can't get it via a computer. This is the same thing that happened when Blockbuster closed, is that like anytime anybody hears I used to work at Blockbuster, the first thing they always say is, man, I miss Blockbuster. I really used to enjoy going there. And you're like,
Going there and just walking around and looking at every movie on every shelf.
Right. But I worked there for almost a decade and I saw the decline. Like, we can't be super, to Josh's point, it's the culture, and Blockbuster used to do a lot of that kind of stuff too. But Toys R Us, again, had this huge kind of magic around it sometimes, especially in its heyday in the 90s.
Yep.
And we stopped going because we opted for convenience via the Targets and the Walmarts. Hey, I can get this ottoman plus a toy for my kid at the same spot, and Amazon and all this other stuff. Like we did this. So
really
I'm
quick,
upset, but I mean, to be honest with you, I used to still go to Toys R Us every once in a while. So, I mean, it's upsetting. It really is. I don't know what the point I was making there, but there you go.
Well, I mean, what was
you
your
wrapped
Toys
up
R
the
Us?
tech
What was your Toys R Us memory though, Brian? When you really think about the nostalgia and the culture and the stuff that was really great, just like you said, the heyday was the '90s. So for you, what was your Toys R Us moment that made you a Toys R Us kid?
I mean, we used to go in there not regularly, but every once in a while, my parents would take
Special
me.
occasion.
Yeah, my parents would take me and my siblings there, and we were allowed to pick one toy. And I'm going to tell this story. It's going to make my brother seem like a dick. Because every time we would go in there, because I was so indecisive when I was a youngling, I was so indecisive about everything. I never knew what I wanted. So my brother would take this opportunity to pick out two toys and convince me that I wanted the one that he also wanted. So, I mean, I just remember going in there on special occasions. I didn't go in there every week like I used to with Blockbuster, but I went in there, and every time we went in there, it was a big deal, and it was fun, and you got to. They used to have these just huge aisles of just this, because back in the 90s, we're talking. The X-Men toys were a huge thing. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, old Spider-Man, and just regular Marvel toys. Like, that's where I lived. And like, we would go up and down that aisle trying to figure out between the thousands of options, one toy we were going to pick. It was fun. That's my memories, I guess.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the time of the show where we take a look at the world of comics, see how it's affecting TV, see how it's affecting movies, but most of all, how it's affecting Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk.
So this is going to sound weird when I say it, but trust me, it's just beautiful, and I highly recommend you watch it. Tommy Wiseau, ladies and gentlemen, the creator of The Room, made a wonderful audition tape as to why he should be the Joker. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of fascinated by this. I'm curious to see what you guys said when you watched the video. Brian, specifically looking at you, because I can hear your eyes rolling from over here.
It was fascinatingly bad. It's Tommy Wiseau. I expected to be terrible. It was funny, and it was not what I would ever want to see in a Joker. But hey, it's a cool YouTube Nerdist sketch, whatever the heck it was for. I'm good with it. Like, but yeah, man, this was bad.
For me, there's nuggets in there, right? There's little things that Tommy Wiseau does that are like, if someone like took just a little piece of that and like made it like randomly laughing, just not like Tommy Wiseau though, like that's not that. No, we don't need that. But just like
what a story, Mark.
You can't go on it. So I thought you could steal little things to make a good performance out of it. What about you, Josh?
Nope.
Just no value out of it whatsoever.
I mean, this dude's fucking weird.
Yes, he is.
That's the appeal of him.
That's
no. There's no
kind
appeal.
of the whole point. Yes, there is.
No, there's not. There's no appeal. Like he's a weird dude. He's so weird. They made a movie about him making a movie that failed.
Yeah, but the movie really didn't fail. If you really look at it, the movie's made a lot of money.
Cult classic that made a lot of money in relation to what it cost to make does not make it a success. I cite Clerks, which is a huge cult classic,
right?
That most people have no idea what it is,
right?
So it's the same fucking thing, except this dude isn't half as entertaining as Jason Mewes. So I don't have any use for this. Like, I'd rather see Jason Mewes pretending to be this guy, pretending to be the Joker.
Just a dude.
I really would rather see the Joker in the room.
Oh,
that would be more entertaining for me.
Want to know how I got these flowers? Why are there spoons in every frame?
Really not bad, CJ. Really not bad.
All right. I thought it was interesting and worth a watch. If you like The Room and you like Tommy Wiseau, I think you'll, just like Brian said, you'll
nobody likes that dude. Nobody likes that.
No, that's not true at all.
His mother doesn't like him. Nobody likes him.
You'll find.
I'm not even sure if he has a mother.
You'll find humor in it. But yeah, just like I said, it's not a real no. We actually don't want Tommy Wiseau as the Joker. Don't anyone think that's what's actually happening here.
That's actually what CJ wants, everybody.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. I want Tommy Wiseau as the Joker, and not Joaquin Phoenix or.
It's all part of his MK Ultra plan.
It's all part of the plan.
Right.
All right. The next bit of news I thought was awesome. Nicolas Cage is finally going to play Superman. Kinda. He is going to be the voice of Superman in the new Teen Titans Go movie. Teen Titans Go to the movie.
Oh, let's talk about something I hate some more.
Yay!
Sign me up. Sign me up for Nick Cage.
Question.
Answer. Go for it.
Will he be sealing the Declaration of Independence?
I hope so.
He might.
He may.
Will anybody's face come
Listen,
off?
I actually think because of Teen Titans Go that none of his former movie craziness is off limits. He may raise Arizona. We're not sure.
Can Superman eat a peach for hours?
I don't know. But
I guarantee you that line is in this movie.
Teen Titans Go also has a whole bit about bees, so maybe he'll be yelling, "Not the bees, not the bees." That's a Wicker Man reference.
I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll be scratching at the door.
I was gonna say maybe Brainiac would be scratching at the door.
Scratching at the door. So we're just making Nick Cage references, but honestly though, I mean, Nick Cage just wanted to play Superman forever. I mean, he named his son Kal-El. Are we at least a little happy for Nick Cage, or are we just going, all right, this is a publicity stunt, and we're just going to let this happen?
Who needs to be happy for Nick Cage? The guy is a successful movie actor.
Is he though?
Yeah, depending on how you determine success. He has more money than all of us combined.
He's got like what? He's got like what? 100. How many hundreds of movies has he been in? I'm putting the over under at 152 and a half.
And a half.
It's true.
Hang on, now I've got to check this.
But he also has like a massive amount of debt. He was like almost like borderline going to jail, like Wesley Snipes kind of debt.
But he won an Oscar, so nobody gives a shit.
So how many?
Like this is true.
So how many movies is IMDb credited?
I was way off. 92.
Actor 92.
92. However, good enough at this point that they've greenlit The Croods 2.
Oh God, no!
Yeah.
All right, so hey, stop, because
The man has 6 movies that are not even completed yet. This guy is always working.
It's like
he's
The
a
Rock,
worker,
but
and-
only with bad movies.
and Emma Stone is rejoining, and Ryan Reynolds is rejoining.
That's
That's
a contract right there. That's someone going, I can't get you out of it. I'm so
the first
sorry.
Croods movie was pretty good. It was cute, right? So, and we're gonna have Kat Dennings and Leslie Mann in this one. Like, and look, Cloris Leachman is still alive.
We're still talking about the Croods. We completely got off the Untitled Go. And the
I don't even care
Croods is
because I'm
probably
so
one of
like
his
I just
finer
discovered there's gonna be a Croods 2, and I'm super happy about it.
All right. Brian, I know this movie already angers you, so they've cast Nick Cage as Superman. So who do they get to play as another character that'll just finally make you just throw something at the screen?
He should be happy about Nick Cage, right?
I don't care either way.
You're
It's
gonna
Nick
see
Cage.
This. You're gonna see this.
You're gonna
No,
see
I'm
this
not gonna
movie.
see
Yes,
this.
you are.
My friend, I have 2 secret weapons at my disposal that would pretty much guarantee you're going to see this movie.
That is not fair.
Youth that burns children against him.
Fair or not, if I tell Christian you're not going to see this movie.
Oh, see, Josh, you just played this wrong because you could have had to slap it right there. And
No, I don't need to slap it. I will straight murder both of you if I slapped you. I'd be up on a murder brief quick. So no, but I got to tell you, the kids are going to be super excited. And I do think if you watch this movie, you're going to think it's fun.
We'll see about that. There's too many fart jokes in the trailer already. Well, the movie drops July 27th, so we'll see if Brian sees this or not. I'm excited for Nick Cage. Just feel good. The man gets to check something off his bucket list. Feel good for it.
Yeah, because ruining Ghost Rider wasn't enough. Let's have him in another superhero franchise.
At the door. Why?
It was an acting choice, CJ.
Oh God! Listen, when
It
Nick
paid
Cage,
off.
when Nick Cage goes for it, he swings for the fences, man.
He swings hard and loose.
All right, are you ready? I have to stretch a little bit for this one, so hope everybody's ready. Going from one Cage to another, Luke Cage season 2 gets a
Wow.
premiere date and a trailer.
Wow, that was a terrible.
Come on, segue. I earned a segue award for that.
That was like a teaser at best.
It was just Luke Cage screaming at a camera.
It actually was labeled a teaser, and CJ again can't read.
I was reading the article from Variety, and it says trailer.
You were
it says,
very, very concerned
says-
with going cage to cage.
It says teaser trailer.
It says teaser trailer in your notes and in the article.
Hold on, no. We can't gloss over what Burns just said. Going cage to cage. Oh man,
We didn't gloss over it. I heard it.
It's so good. All right, I'm sorry. I apologize for that disruption. So, September of 2016, we're getting Luke Cage season 2.
Great, as long as the season isn't him screaming at a camera saying, "Come get me." I don't care,
We all love
because that's all that trailer was.
Okay.
It's like, "Yo, I'm Luke Cage. Come get me."
It
Okay.
wasn't good. The teaser.
No, it wasn't. So give me a real
No.
trailer, and I'll be
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, and if for the love of God, give me some of the Harlem backdrop. Give me some music. Give me something. Give me something to get excited about.
That's definitely the thing with Luke Cage that we all loved. Was
Are
the
we
music
seriously
was
going to spend any more time on this trailer when a much more important trailer dropped this morning?
Well, for fuck's sake.
That's the last one we're just about to get. We're just about
I'm
to
just
get
saying.
there.
I'm just saying. I'm done with this trailer.
And then the final bit of news today was today, Friday, when we are recording. So this is old news already to you. The trailer for Avengers: Infinity War dropped. The final trailer. I am in trailer blackout, and I didn't watch it. So you two may discuss.
You're an idiot.
I'm already sold.
Yeah.
Don't sell me anymore. I don't want anything spoiled.
I don't.
I'm already
It's
sold.
not about being sold. I
Nothing
don't
got
understand the
spoiled in this
blackout.
trailer
Listen.
either.
Listen, I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm already there. I got the tickets. Like,
All right.
I don't need
all
another
right,
trailer. Do
all right.
your thing.
I got my tickets as well. I'm sure Brian does have his as well. I think for me, introducing the trailer from Gamora's point of view was a big deal.
Oh yeah, totally.
And
Her having the voiceover through the first half of that trailer
was so
So good.
personal and so awesome. And did something unexpected, which was really set up Guardians to be a huge piece of this, and then reinforced by Chris Pratt and his ridiculousness, right?
Right. But then bookended by that scene where Gamora is holding her father's hand.
Yeah, well, as a child. It's a memory.
No, it's not. That's her. That's how freaking huge Thanos is.
I felt like she was a tiny little thing. Like,
No,
I felt like she had little legs. I thought that was a memory.
Think about it this way: when you in the next scene, when you see him
I
go
get
for
it.
Captain America, he's about
so
the
here's
same
the thing.
size.
What you're saying, that the specific scene you're talking about, and I can't believe we're nerding out over this trailer like this, but the specific scene you're talking about was sort of the end of Gamora's monologue, where she talks about how he found her, and that's why I think it's a flashback, because it's she looked like she had tiny legs, and I got to tell you, Zoe Saldana has legs that go all the way to the floor.
I'm just thinking that scene is meant to show just how the scale of Thanos and how massive this guy is.
And that might be the case. I just felt more like it was a nostalgia thing, and she's still like, there's still a connection no matter how, like, he was really more cruel to Nebula.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's probably still some affinity there, and I don't know, like, this movie, the scale of it seems so ridiculous, and I bought my tickets immediately. Like, I texted Laura, like, hey, Friday, this day, like, she's like, oh, I'm gonna be at the wedding rehearsal, and I'm like, I'm fucking taking Christian. Then you're gonna miss out. I don't give a shit. You can figure that shit out for yourself. I'm not missing it. I'm seeing it before the podcast that night. So it's like it's a major event. It's one of those things you plan for. It's a big deal. This trailer is fantastic. It's Marvel. It's a Marvel masterpiece. But Gamora was the highlight.
Everything was the highlight for me. But I will say this. Yeah, Gamora was used so well in that trailer. The Guardians in general were used very well. I mean, you have Tony's kind of middle monologue
Chris
in there.
Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like your plan, but it sucks. So what you should do is let me do it. And that was the end of the sentence.
Yeah, that's Star-Lord.
Fucking great. So great. And you got Groot is a bit bigger.
Yeah, he's teenage Groot. I loved all the scenes with Spider-Man just because but that last scene of him, I don't know what he's swinging
fake names?
Huh?
Are we using fake names? We're using our fake names?
Yeah, him and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, hey, I'm Peter. Doctor Strange. Oh, we're using our code names? Well, then I'm Spider-Man. Right. And him going like, okay. And that last scene of him like swinging through whatever rubble, debris he's trying to navigate through. Oh my gosh. I don't think I got any work done today because of this trailer, which is upsetting.
I've been at full attention since noon.
It's, oh my gosh. This is 10 years in the making. This is an event. This is something you planned for. This is something that I really wish, because AMC is doing a 31-hour marathon of all the Marvel movies, and I want to go just because I'm so excited for this movie.
When is this? I can score us some meth. Let's do that.
The 31 marathon? I don't know. I'm assuming the days leading up, the like 2 days leading up to Avengers.
Or Adderall. Either way.
I'd have to look into it. I wasn't planning on going because I don't know if I can just cut out 31 hours out of my week. But this movie is going to be the grandest of scales, the biggest blockbuster. If this doesn't break all the records, I don't know what will. It's going to be amazing.
Well, okay. I mean, I think you're getting a little optimistic. I don't think it breaks.
I don't think I am.
I don't think. When you say all the records, you're talking box office records, right?
Yeah, box office.
No, I don't think it does. The current stakeholder, or the current title holder is Titanic.
Avatar.
Yeah, it's not going to do that. It's not going to do that. It's not. I love it. I love it. I love you. I'm not dismissing any of that. I'm saying you, true believer, have rose-colored glasses. Like, this is not...
The first Avengers is the number 3 grossing movie of all time.
It's not...
You don't think this tops that?
I don't think it reaches Titanic and Avatar numbers. No, I don't. I do think it's amazing.
Even with the recent success of Black Panther, though, and pulling in that crowd?
It does. Even riding on those coattails, I mean, those other two movies were freakish. And they appealed to a whole subset of folks that aren't going to go see an Avengers movie. I know guys my age that have never seen an Avengers movie.
Oh, speaking of which, there was a guy.
You mean heathens?
Yeah, I mean the fucking assholes. I mean friends of mine, but dicks. At least one of them listens to this podcast. Dick.
So
who just has never seen an Avengers movie? Well, how do you live?
On that vein, and thank you for bringing that up. I almost forgot about this. A friend of mine at work, his name is Jacob. He came to me and he said, "Hey,
you're just calling people out."
No, hey, I said it with name dropping.
That's an alias. He's actually behind a screen in a dark room.
He wants our help.
A voice scrambler.
So he wants our help. He says, "Hey, man, I just saw Black Panther yesterday." I was like, "Oh, great! How was it?" He goes, "It was awesome. It was my first Marvel movie. It was very exciting."
What?
I was like, "How did you?" Because the only other guy that I know at work who hasn't seen any Marvel movies was literally out of the country when the Iron Man and all that stuff landed. Like he wasn't in America.
Here's the thing. What's his name? Jacob.
Be nice,
Jacob.
I work with the guy,
and I will be. I'm gonna be nice right now. Here's me being nice, Jacob. I need you to search Marvel movies in sequential order, but MCEU movies
in chronological order. So I can list them off.
No, don't list them off. We're not doing that. But because he can do his own fucking homework.
Here's the question he wanted.
But no questions yet. I'm not done speaking.
I Captain
Jacob. You find them in chronological order and you watch them in that order.
Okay.
You have to watch them in that order, and you don't omit anything. No matter how hard I've railed against Ant-Man, it's valid. Right? It's not a bad movie. I just think it's shitty. But it has its place. What is Jacob's question?
His question was what you were just getting on, so I want to hear Brian's thing.
Well, why do we even need to ask? You don't need to ask it then. I just said it.
All right, so Jacob, that should answer your question though of where do you start? Just do what Josh said. Just make that happen.
Start to finish is where you start. Jacob, there's a problem. Fix it. There's 3 steps to it. Step 1, fix. Step 2, it. Step 3, fix it.
So wake up in the morning, read the newspaper, and it should say it's fixed.
It's fixed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time where we are now going to talk about Jessica Jones Season 2 on Netflix. So if you haven't seen the show, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week. And if for those of you who have, I am very, very excited to be talking about this and very curious to hear what you guys thought of it. So this is your time to tune out, and here we go. So, Jessica Jones Season 2. Very different than Season 1 of said show. But in a way that while I had problems with it, I still enjoyed it as a show. So I'm very curious to hear your general thoughts on just what you thought as this season, at large. Brian?
General thoughts?
General thoughts first. General thoughts?
Not as good as the first season, but I still enjoyed it. It's
literally
still better than Iron Fist.
That's a very low bar to clear.
Also better than Defenders.
Also a low bar to clear. Brian, wow. Josh, what about you?
I liked it better than Season 1 until David Tennant showed up.
And really? That was my favorite freaking episode.
Nope.
That was a little Jumpy the Shark for me, too.
At that point, I went, apparently this character has 0 growth despite everything we've seen. They've just said, you know what? We feel like this is getting boring. Let's introduce someone more interesting than Kristen Ritter.
Yeah.
Here's David Tennant, everyone.
So that was my major complaint, and my wife's major complaint was there really wasn't a villain or a force or a something externally that you could see that was, driving her that she was fighting against. It was a lot of internal conflict, which is fine. It's just,
it doesn't really need to be. This show it's a PI show.
No.
It's a film noir.
I'm with Brian here. The villain was her tie to her mother. Like,
yes.
Having the choice to sever that tie is the villain. And she never really made that choice anyway.
Right. And I felt that was cheapened, though, just like you say, when Kilgrave got brought in.
It was.
And that was my
cheapened.
problem. It was,
yeah.
You find, like, it wasn't as strong as it was in season 1, but it was there. It was a valid concern, right? But then it just got quickly undercut just by having David Tennant in there, which I love David Tennant. I love the Kilgrave character. Just like, that was not the time to bring him in. You were finally making some progress that way, and you really just kind of undercut your whole message. Brian, you were going to say something. Sorry to cut you off.
I don't I don't think for a show like this you need some external big bad villain. As much as I loved Kilgrave in the first season, this is it's a mystery. It's a film noir, and there's not always a clear villain in those types of stories. She was fighting really an idea. She was fighting not just the idea of, her attachment to her mother and the demons that she has to fight still, but, she was fighting this corporation that wasn't really even in existence anymore. She was just kind of trying to uncover the truth. And in the end, I found it very interesting that really at the end, she had a whole ton of growth, but she ruins it all throughout this entire season because of that connection to her mother. She has pushed out everybody that actually gave a damn about her. Her and Trish are not on speaking terms, if they're on any terms at all, because, I don't know, Trish shot her freaking mom. And her and Malcolm are on the outs. Like it was a very bittersweet season for her. It was important. It was important to put her where you need her to be for season 3, but I enjoyed it overall. I liked the Kilgrave stuff. I liked Kilgrave in the first season. I liked this episode with Kilgrave, and maybe it's because I'm being some wishful thinking that he might come back and that him dying was a mental trick that he played on her, and he's like trying to lay low, waiting for her to be susceptible.
That's what my wife said. Yes.
I'm okay with that if that's the case.
And that's what I said. Listen, it's a comic book. Like, no one's really ever dead. So, I mean, like, I could totally see him coming back. But, I
didn't see it like, I didn't see it how everyone else saw it. Everyone else saw it as a manifestation of her guilt over killing this guy. I saw it as, well, maybe this is how they bring Kilgrave.
My wife said when at the end of the season, last episode, she's just taking pictures of people. She's back to being a PI, right? She's just taking pictures of some guy in the street. She's kind of going over the photos and then goes downstairs to have dinner with the family. But when she's reviewing the photos, my wife goes, "Oh my god, she's going to see Kilgrave in the photos. Like, they just brought him back. Like, this is how they're going to show it. He's going to be in the background somewhere. Kilgrave's going to be there, and maybe she doesn't notice him." I'm just like,
This is one of the very few times I'm going to say this, but I like how your wife thinks.
No, we can all. My wife, much smarter, much better than me. It's fine. You're okay to praise her for that.
I didn't say any of that.
Okay. All right, then don't praise or say good job to her.
I'm just saying I liked her train of thought there. I didn't say she was smarter or better than you.
Look, just overall, this thing. There were such wild changes of character.
Thanks for saying that.
Throughout, and not just, it wasn't just one. It was like all characters, right? Jessica went from hating her mother to loving her mother to this whole, all of a sudden, remorse and regret and letting Kilgrave back in and letting that poison her, to loving her mother, to knowing she has to go away. The mother went from some ridiculous, super ridiculous Frankenstein type killer to, oh, I'm a mom, but I'm also a killer, but my daughter brings me back, which was fucking stupid. Malcolm went from the most loyal dude ever to, oh, I have my own firm now.
I thought that was a straight progression, though. I just
no. Anybody that loyal wouldn't be disloyal. But I mean, and then on top of everything, you've got fucking Patsy.
Everything's wrong.
Which her entire arc is shot. It's fucked. This was not a good show. Nope, not a good show.
I disagree with you on the Malcolm part. Brian said it partially. She spent this entire season pushing him away every single time. So much to the point that even Trish even said to him, you're pushing him away one time. He actually is going to break. He's actually going to leave you. Like, he's actually going to do this if you continue to be so self-destructive and isolated. And it happened. And I like, you saw it coming. It was kind of sad, but it's justified. If I was Malcolm, I'd do the exact same thing.
And I mean, you want to talk about Patsy and it's her story arc being screwed up. I don't necessarily think it was. I think that was a natural progression for that character. The entire first season, she just wants to be Jessica. For these entire 2 seasons, she wants to be able to have the power to do something, and she thought news was that thing for her. And then Jessica did what she did in season 1, which made Trish feel completely powerless. And then, she
a little bit of Defenders gets sprinkled in there.
She teamed up with a little bit of the Defenders, which Trish, again, all she could do is just report on it. She's not making any real differences, and she wants to make a difference. It makes sense for her to fall down the super drug rabbit hole and, try to get powers. I thought that was a natural progression for that character too.
Yeah.
And coupled with the fact that this entire season, Jessica has spent the entire season pushing everybody away and just pissing everybody off to the point where, like, Trish is like, if she's not going to do anything, then I'm going to find a way that I can do something because these gifts are wasted on her, type of thing. So I thought that storyline was fine. You know what storyline I thought was completely unneeded and unnecessary? Jerry Hogarth's entire storyline could have been omitted. I would have had 3 less episodes, and I would have been much happier. I think
that was probably the only valid,
that's
not the only, but like a really valid storyline because it crosses through all the other shows. So
they never reference it. You see Foggy for 3 seconds.
That's all you need.
And she mentioned Rand several times.
She's got her fingers in all this shit. We need her alive. Like that made total sense to me.
The whole depression, ALS, trying to get healed storyline. I did not need that. It didn't add to anything.
It showed her level of desperation, for sure. So now we know she's willing to go even further than she was before.
And it changes her motivations for the future, right? Seeing that maybe everything could have, instead of just being complacent now, she wants to take it to the next level. And we already thought she was at operating at a 10. And then seeing that everything could be taken away from her in a moment and realizing that her only legacy is the law firm and her name and the work that she does, I mean, it's just going to take it up to another level. So I agree that it wasn't always the best story to watch, but I think it's an important story for the reason Josh has said. It's going to cross into other things. I am very curious, though, to get your opinion. We've talked about it several times, but I'm very curious what happened when they did the reveal that this woman and that weird monster, that was Jessica's mom. Like, what did you think when they're like, oh, your mom's here and she's got a different face and, like, she was in the lab when you were a kid getting experimented on. Like, what did you think about that?
Yeah, she had the meat face. Yeah. She was the man with the meat face.
She was.
I was fine with it. I didn't think. I mean, I completely believed it. Is that what you're asking me?
No, I'm just curious about what you felt about it. What were your feelings?
It made sense. It gave Jessica a more personal connection to the story, besides the fact that these people just experimented on me.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that.
That's the whole reason she gets pushed into this investigation even further, is because it's her mom. If it were up to Jessica, she would just be like, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to go about my life.
Right.
And Trish was the only one who was trying to force this and investigate this and go deeper. And that's what made, that's what threw Jessica into this. So I'm completely okay with that. I know a lot of people had an issue with it. I'm completely okay with it.
And that's why I brought it up, is because I agree with you. It really was the driving force, and I was quite okay with it. But other people had issues, and I think
you know what I did have issue with besides the Jerry Hogarth storyline? There was no mention of the Defenders and what she did in the Defenders.
I'm okay with that.
No, I'm not okay with it, because at the end of the Defenders, she is severely affected by Matt's death. And they didn't carry that over into this season.
They did. There was actually a regression.
I expected
without explanation.
Right. I expected to pick her up at the beginning of the season feeling like She could have felt the same way.
You picked her up like right where she left off season 1. Remember when I was talking about the character development that happened in Defenders, and I'm excited to see it in Jessica Jones season 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
They didn't pick that up.
None of it.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I could be more disappointed with this season, because everything good they did in the Defenders, they ignored and then either overcomplicated or undid by actions in this season. Like, just, she started over. How the fuck did you take away her progression? Netflix? How'd you do that?
I mean, I think there was a way to still tell this story and still have that progression, but they didn't. They didn't pick it up where she was at the end of Defenders. Like, there should have been much more talk about Matt and how Matt inspired her.
Right.
And,
hell, even some interaction with Foggy would have been nice.
Right. And how, like, she was kind of wrecked by his sacrifice in Defenders. And maybe that's why she's kind of in the, I don't want to be a hero. I met a guy who was awesome at this and he did really good. And look what happened to him. I don't want to be that. Like, they could have taken that approach to it, and it wouldn't have been a regression to the character. It would have still made sense to me, but they didn't, which is a little upsetting. Overall, I enjoyed this season. It is most definitely not the worst Netflix show I've seen.
Right.
But it could have been better.
So, I mean, that opens up the larger question. It's, since Iron Fist, we've had critiques really of the Netflix Marvel properties, and we've seen them in a fashion that, in my opinion, has been a decline. Are we worried about Nicholas? Are we worried about Luke Cage? Are we worried about Daredevil, their next seasons, and what they're doing to those characters? Or do we think that those two properties are relatively safe?
I'm not worried about Daredevil at all.
Nope.
And here's why. Daredevil as a character has such a huge amount of years and storylines behind him that you can continue to tell these Daredevil stories very well. And the showrunners, I want to say Drew Goddard is still the showrunner of that show, are fantastic. And they get that character. I am a little worried about Luke Cage because he doesn't have the back catalog that, just like Jessica, the problem with Jessica Jones is that she does not have the back catalog. She does not have the rogues gallery. She does not have the stories that we could just keep going to this well and keep adapting these things to television. And Luke Cage is the same thing. He doesn't have... Luke Cage works best in the comic books when he's partnered with Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So...
Right.
How... And that was what was worrying about me.
That's why we're so sad that Kristen Ritter hasn't been contacted yet about Defenders season 2.
But that's what worried me about season 1. And granted, they did a great job with season 1. I was extremely surprised, but I don't know where you go with a season 2. And that's what I'm worried about. Yeah, you have Shades and you have, I can't remember her name, the mayors still, doing their thing. But if they do that, then it's just a rehash of season 1, and that's not going to be good.
You bring up an interesting point that, Jessica Jones, like you said, doesn't have a pretty big rogues gallery to go into, and they killed off Simpson quick. Guy was in there for like maybe 20 minutes.
Simpson's not even a Jessica Jones character. That's the funny thing. Yeah. He's a Daredevil character.
I mean, just he was in and out, man. That was super quick. I was actually shocked.
I think third season of Jessica Jones is going to be Trish. Kilgrave probably going to be the villain.
You give Trish and Kilgrave again. You get them back.
No, but I mean, Trish is probably going to be the villain.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But anyway, but that's why I'm worried about Luke Cage, is because you don't have that well.
All right. So looking at Jessica Jones season 2, kind of giving it a ranking. Let's use 5 stars as the metric. Brian, where do you put Jessica Jones season 2?
3 out of 5. And here's the barometer. If Daredevil is 5 stars and Iron Fist is half a star and Defenders is 1.5 stars, this would be a 3. I hope my scale makes sense.
I like your scale, and going off that scale, I would give it a 2.
No, I thought it was still better than Defenders.
All right, so
you have Defenders at 1.5. I gave
Defenders was 1.5 stars. Is that right?
Yes,
correct.
I give this 1 3/8 stars.
We're really parceling out the stars here.
This is not quite as good as Defenders, but it is a show.
My brain is literally trying to color in 3/8 of a star right now.
1.375, fucker. Color it in.
That's just, my hamster just fell off the wheel. Just goes, I fucking give up, man. I'm gonna eat a carrot. I'm not doing that shit.
Here's what people do when they know math, CJ. They assign numbers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a one-way conversation. We want to hear from you. What do you think about these topics? What did you think about Jessica Jones Season 2? There are several ways you can tell us. You can find us on Twitter at That Kind of Nerd, Facebook, facebook.com/That Kind of Nerd, or, guys, the coolest way, have your voice on the show. Call 484-373-4119. We will play your voicemail on the show. I want to thank Josh and Brian for talking with me this week. Thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work, and we will see you next week.
If you love comics and sci-fi and technology, television, video games, and fantasy, well, take a listen to our show, I'm sure you'll see there's many points where we can agree. Like that Martha as a plot point was just too absurd, and Apple versus Android is a case to be heard, and that Josh Trank's new Fantastic Four was a turd. Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.
I didn't get an iMac at my Catholic school. I don't know math.
It's maybe possibly. I don't like speaking in maybes.
He prefers to deal in absolutes like the Sith.
Ooh, like the Sith.
I do prefer to deal in absolutes. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Where the fuck is Jeremy Renner?
He's not on the poster, by the way.
In the trailer.
He is
Brian,
at his home with his kids.
Everyone wants to know, where is Jeremy Renner?
I don't have that answer. If I did, I would work for Marvel and I wouldn't be doing this.
Really? You wouldn't do this? You wouldn't even talk to us anymore? You do good for us now?
Okay, at what point did I
just
work
do good
for Marvel that I would have still met you?
You just, no, I mean, if you work there now, like they just
If I worked
grabbed
there
you.
now, I would totally still talk to you guys, but I wouldn't be allowed to talk about Marvel stuff.
Josh, you had submitted an article into the show notes here, and it is 25 things that happen.
Why do you always say Josh does this stuff? I actually put this shit in there.
I don't know. I thought Brian did. I thought Josh did.
Oh, I definitely put this in there.
I put it in here too, so then it was in there twice. Because I know I put it in there.
Or one of you is lying?
I don't care how you intro it. Give credit to whoever you want, CJ.
So a topic that we had this week too. I'm just kidding. Oh, righty. Here we go.
Are you going to do this entire episode in an Irish accent?
I could, if you like it.
I'm just curious.
It'll have to be very stereotypical Irish, not real Irish.
No, you don't want. You'd have to be Lucky Charms Irish.
No, because real Irish is like this. You know, it's very mumbly, kind of. It's not very fun to listen to. This is no fun. Hey, everybody! Welcome to That Kind of Nerds podcast. Now with lots of Lucky Charms. That's more. That's better.
We come with Lucky Charms now?
We do
That's
that.
exciting.
When you're opening up your podcast app, heart stars and horseshoes just firing at you. It's very dangerous while you drive. Stay the fuck away from our podcast when you're driving. Only walk around the neighborhood. That's fine.